Evening peeps, good evening everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vids. All right, quite a lot of boxing happened last night. We are going to recap where I was. Obviously I was at Wembley Arena for Katie Taylor's return. We're going to talk about Lomachenko being back and what that means for the lightweight division, and we'll talk about any other stories that we see floating around. I do want to quickly though touch on the Conor Benn video I did a couple of days ago. I read most of the comments and I can see a lot of you guys are still very, very angry. A lot of you are pissed off, and rightly so, by the way, rightly so. A lot of you are upset with my take on it and my stance on it. I see a few people have sort of said things like Ade was a lot tougher when it came to Jarrell Miller or Canelo or anyone else that has been caught taking performance enhancing drugs. And you know what? Fair play, you are correct. Obviously, I am in quite a difficult position. I feel like I have still, though, been quite vocal about it as much as I can be. And look, we wait and see what's going to happen. I think a lot of you, though, are angry because you feel like justice won't be served. Again, that's kind of what I got from reading the comment section. And again, I guess you are correct. Boxing has a history, especially when it comes to sort of big name boxers being caught, where you feel like they're not given the correct punishment, right? You think of, like, again, you guys know I'm a big athletics fan. No matter who you are, if you're caught taking drugs in athletics, it doesn't care if you're the biggest name in the sport, you are done. You are done. I can give you so many examples. Justin Gatlin, Marion Jones. Marion Jones was the biggest star at the time. She got caught, done. There's no coming back from it. Over here, Dwayne Chambers. I mean, literally, you can reel off name after name after name of big stars who have been caught. And it isn't a case of, oh, you know, if we chuck them out of the sport's done. No, no, no. You're getting chucked out regardless. Whether it be 4 years, 8 years, 2 years, you're going to get a ban. I feel like there is a feeling amongst fans that boxers get away with it. Loopholes, lawyers being smart, no world governing body, right? Separate, different organizations. So over here, obviously, it's the British Boxing Board of Control. In America, it's state-driven, right? Nevada, California, New York, and everyone seems to have their own rules and regulations. Boxing desperately needs a world governing body to oversee the sport, so that if someone does pop, it's not a case of, okay, VADA, UCAD, USADA, all that crap. It's a case of you're banned. And I think people are still angry because they feel like if Conor Benn is guilty, and I've got to say that, but if Conor Benn is guilty, and right now it looks like he is, people think that he won't get the right ban. And look, we have to only wait and see. I know that's almost a cop-out answer, and trust me, I get it. Trust me, I get it. But we just have to wait and see what's going to happen. I think, regardless, there's going to be a ban now. I think there'll be a ban of 1 or 2 years. You know, he might even be made an example of. But look, we'll see. I think he's doing an interview with IFL TV next week. I think he might go on TalkSport. It's going to be very interesting to see what he has to say. All right, let's talk about where I was yesterday. I was at Wembley Arena, or what's it called now? The OVO or OVO Arena for Katie Taylor's return against Karen Carvajal, the Argentine, unbeaten Argentine that we didn't know too much about. That was the main event. Let's quickly go through the card before we talk about Katie Taylor. I think the main card started with Gary Cully, Irish lightweight fighter, who got a stoppage in like 35 seconds. There's something about him I like. He looks very slick, obviously very big for the weight. I think he's about 6'2", maybe 6'3". I spoke to him about sort of making weight, and he says, no, he makes it comfortably. Like, he lives in between fight camps. It's not a case of he goes into a fight camp to get fit. He's already in and around that weight class. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does next. European titles vacant, sort of fringe world guys are there as well. So look, he will stay busy, and I like the look of him. Ellie Scotney won the European title. I still want to see a bit more from Ellie Scotney. There are good sort of good fighters that have the world titles. Rivas has a world title. There's a girl called Johnson from Australia who's got a world title. So they're good fights for her. And I guess if you got the European title, that's what's next. I asked Shane McGuigan and he said, yep, world title next. So we'll see what she does. But I still think I need to see a bit more, bit better, especially now that we're seeing some really good female fighters sort of come to the fore she's going to need to be better, I think, to become a world champion and stay a world champion. Johnny Fisher, bloody hell. This is a guy that's only had 7 fights. I mean, I would say there probably was maybe about 5,000 in there yesterday. 3,000 with him. 3,000 with him. The noise they made when he came out was crazy. Eddie is it's gonna be interesting to see what Eddie does with him, because obviously, look, he's a big ticket seller. They're gonna want to make sure they match him carefully. You don't want that to kind of just run dry. You want to make sure they match him carefully and not. I mean, the Southern Area heavyweight title was vacant. Fabio Wardley fighting Nathan Gorman means the English heavyweight title is vacant. I asked those questions and Eddie seemed to kind of bat both of them away. I thought a Southern Area title, I thought he's ready for that, but Eddie maybe doesn't think so. So I think he's still going to have fights like this, tougher guys, maybe guys that take him a few more rounds, and don't expect him to do anything until he's like 11, 12-0, and then maybe he'll go for an area title. Jordan Gill, Kiko Martinez, very interesting. I did tweet that I felt Jordan Gill at one stage is almost going to have to stay there and trade with Kiko. And if he does that, he's going to come unstuck. Because Kiko forces you to fight at a pace. And I didn't think Jordan Gill could fight, you know, on the back foot, jabbing and moving for 12 rounds. It's just not going to be possible. Kiko, credit to him. Honestly, credit to him. This man just, when you think he's done, when you think there's nothing left. I remember me and Rob Tebbett were talking about him when he got, when Kid Galahad fought him. And I think most people was like, oh, this is a shit fight. You know, Kid Galahad's going to destroy him. And obviously, he knocked Kid Galahad out. And you're thinking, wait a minute, how is he still doing this? I remember watching him versus Rendell Monroe, the bin man, in 2008, and thinking, okay, and then he fought Carl Frampton. I remember thinking when Carl beat him, okay, that might be it. And he literally, that was, when Carl first fought him, that might have been 2012, you know, 2013. Here we are, 10 years later, and he's still coming over and beating people up. Like even in that defeat to Josh Warrington, he broke Josh's jaw. He called Josh's problems. And now, I mean, he showed that there's still a lot left. I mean, he destroyed Jordan Gill. Destroyed him, the European champion. I know Jordan Gill got that belt, but, you know, with a sort of punch from the gods against Kareem Guerfi, but still, European champion. And he is one hell of a gatekeeper to world level. Now, when I think of fighters in the past that have been gatekeepers, I don't think there's anyone that kind of is a better gatekeeper than Kiko. And I think maybe that even might be disrespectful because he's been a world champion. But he is a serious, formidable gatekeeper. You want to get to world level, you've got to go through him. And I think we saw it yesterday that ain't easy going through him, ain't easy at all. He really destroyed Jordan Gill. And he wants Lee Wood next. He literally ran ringside after his fight and kind of just pointed at Lee Wood and said, I want you. And we wait to see what's going to happen with Lee Wood. Is it Lara? Is it Santa Cruz? Or, I mean, could you sell the Kiko fight? I think you can sell it. Especially because Jordan and Lee are very good friends. So Lee might want to get in there and kind of avenge his friend. But I'm telling you now, that's a risky fight for Lee as well. But well done, Kiko Martinez. I asked him after, through a translator, like, people always write you off, but you always come back. And he was like, because those people don't know that I don't party, I don't drink. You know, he lives the life. And it shows if you live the life, you can sort of pull off these performances. You can keep going. I mean, obviously, look, I was going to say age isn't a barrier. It clearly is a barrier, but he's 36 and going on that performance, he's still got a couple of years left. I was talking about Katie Taylor versus Caraballo. Decent performance. It wasn't Katie Taylor versus Serrano. It wasn't Katie Taylor versus Pursoon. It was more Katie Taylor versus Sharipova or Katie Taylor versus Jennifer Han. It was one of those performances. I didn't think she looked great, Katie, but she got the job done against what was quite a decent opponent. I thought, I'm going to call her Karen because it's easier to pronounce than her surname. I thought Karen was long, she was game. There was a few times where I thought she hurt Katie, but Katie just knows how to win these type of fights. She knows what to do. She knows how to win rounds. She's very smart. She almost times the rounds in her head. I've noticed she has a burst at the start. She does nothing really for the next 45 seconds. And the last 30 seconds, she goes again. and it's quite smart, and she's always going to win the rounds like that. I don't think she gets up for these type of fights. I don't. Because I remember when she fought Sharapova and Jennifer Han, I thought, oh, Katie's there for the taking, and all of a sudden she produces the performance she did against Serrano, which shows that she can sort of raise her level when she needs to. We spoke after, and she wants to go to Croke Park in Ireland, 80,000. Eddie says, regardless, that's where she will fight next in Ireland. So let's see what Eddie can do. It really has to be Amanda Serrano, but there are other names as well. Obviously, Baumgardner will be interesting. You know why I like the Baumgardner one a bit? You guys obviously saw Baumgardner, Michaela Mai, you saw Baumgardner, Terry Harper. Baumgardner trash talks. And it might bring out something a bit different in Katie. Like, Katie's the complete opposite of Baumgardner when it comes to personalities. And I like that. I don't mind that. This is obviously if they can't get Amanda Serrano. Amanda Serrano is 100% first choice. I know Baumgardner is the second choice. And then obviously you've got to go with Chantel Cameron if she gets past McCaskill as the third choice. So look, there are options. And she deserves Croke Park. She deserves it, what she's done for female boxing, what she's done for Irish sport. And look, seeing people's comments on Twitter, people think that she will sell out Croke Park in a couple of hours. Remember, it's 80,000, which would be insane. And I think Eddie will have that as his #1 target for next year, her versus Serrano, Croke Park. Let's quickly see what else is out there in terms of news. Lomachenko, of course, returned with a unanimous decision over Jermaine Ortiz. I watched that fight about an hour ago. Look, for me, it's just great to see Lomachenko back. He got hurt in the second round, you know. He kind of fell in to a left hook from Jermaine Ortiz, which hurt him. It really kind of started to close his eye a little bit. And it was a tough fight. It wasn't easy. And I always thought it might be a tough fight. Remember, this is the Jermaine Ortiz who beat Jamel Herring previously. So there is something about Jermaine Ortiz. He isn't just a name plucked from thin air. He's a decent fighter. I thought there were times when... Look, Loma's got a style where I feel like Loma's style, he needs to be active. It's all about movement. It's all about feet placement. It's all about sort of combinations. And I think if that style gets a bit rusty, then it can look a bit rusty. And I think we saw that in spots yesterday. But ultimately, again, when he needed to, he opened that tool bag. He found a few more gears than Jermaine Ortiz has seen or Jermaine Ortiz has, and he got the job done. He got the job done. I thought a couple of the scorecards were maybe a bit close, but ultimately Loma won. And now we wait and see if it is going to be Devin Haney. I hope it is. Devin Haney obviously got in the ring. And what I liked what Loma did, he was like, you know what? He's the A-side. Like, whatever conditions he is saying, fine, we'll go with him. Because right now, he's the man. I like that. I like that. Whether or not that's true when it comes to managers and lawyers and contracts is another thing. But that's what he's saying. Devin Haney's the A-side. I want the opportunity to fight him. You're the man, Devin. Let's fight him. And if you're Devin and you're watching that performance, you're thinking he's there for the taking. You are. I don't think he is. I think, again, he's been out the ring for nearly a year. His last fight was Richard Comey, which I think was November or December last year. Obviously, he was supposed to fight Kambosos. That was the initial choice. It was supposed to be Kambosos, Loma. And then obviously what happened in Ukraine happened. It's still happening. But I think those 12 rounds would do Loma a great deal. He would have banked those 12 rounds. You have a bit of a rest and then you come back. Look, he is 34. There's no doubt he's slowing down. I'm the biggest Loma fan out there. He's slowing down. You know, Timothy Bradley was so harsh in commentary. Timothy Bradley was like, you take away the angles, something along the lines. I'm going to paraphrase him. You take away the angles and there's nothing special. And I was like, are you crazy? Loma's hand speed is still fantastic. His combinations are still fantastic. Yes, his angles are what makes him special. He tricks fighters. But when people don't give credit to Loma for things like the gut check. Like I'm saying, you know, he got hurt in the second round. He got hurt to the body as well, but he just guts it out. Like rounds 10, 11, 12, championship rounds when, you know, it might be close on the scorecards. He doesn't know. He finds a way to get those rounds. And I think he deserves a bit more respect. There's a lot more to Loma than just movement. There's a lot more. And I look forward to the Haney fight. Devin looks so much bigger than him in the ring. But that's fine. That's going to happen. Devin probably walks around at maybe 180, 170. Devin big. I've interviewed Devin. I've seen him face to face. Devin's a big boy. But if I I've always said this. I would prefer to be someone that walks around closer to my fighting weight than seeing what Devin does. And we saw him on the scales against Kambosos where he strips himself to almost look like a skeleton and then obviously puts it back on. But look, it should be an easy fight to make. Both with top rank, you know, Bob wants to fight. Everyone wants to fight, so it should be an easy fight to make. And I think that Loma deserves a chance to fight for Undisputed as well. So fingers crossed it happens. Let's see if there's anything else. I haven't seen this fight, but Jake Paul beat Anderson Silva. He's now called out the likes of Canelo and Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was there yesterday, had a little scuffle with Jake Paul's people. So that is going to be the fight that happens next. I have no doubt about it. Credit to Anderson Silva, though. I mean, that man's 50. He's 50. I mean, he's gas tank. He's fitness levels. Something a bit special. To be 50 and still going in there against a big, strong, youthful fighter, regardless of his ability, you've got to give him credit for. Anything else? I haven't watched the Zepeda-Jojo Diaz fight. I know Zepeda won, but I've not watched it, so it's difficult for me to talk about it, unfortunately. But Zepeda's another guy in that division that can cause problems. Good division. Good division. Right, let's see if there's anything else very quickly. Chisora was there yesterday, by the way. Chisora was there. Joe Joyce was there as well. Eddie Hall was there. Eddie Hall, by the way, has slimmed down. I don't know if you guys know Eddie Hall, former world's strongest man. You should know he is. He is slimmed down from when he was competing. I can't tell you how big he was. He is enormous. He came, as I was doing an interview with Johnny Fisher, he came into the interview. Johnny Fisher's about 17 stone, right? He made Johnny Fisher look like a lightweight. Honestly, I couldn't believe a man could be that big. And it made me feel like, what's like, and Eddie Hall's considered quite a small world's strongest man because of his height. He's about 6'2", 6'3". Those like have for Beyonce, who's 6'9". I can't imagine what those guys look like. I think I saw something Eddie was saying. 2 secs. I think I saw Eddie say something about Chisora Fury, but look, we don't need to see that anyway. Anything else before we get going? No, not really, no. Not much else. Yeah, not much else. Let's have a quick look. Okay, Ryan Garcia here saying he's accepted terms for the Tank Davis fight. We got to get this BS figured out. Look, the BS is obviously the TV deal. That's what the BS is. I don't know what they're going to do with this. If I'm DAZN, I do not want my best talent, or not my best talent, obviously they got Canelo, they got AJ, but in terms of future talent, that's it, right? He's the future for DAZN, Ryan Garcia. I don't want my future on another broadcaster. If I'm DAZN, I'm speaking it from, if I've, put my DAZN bigwig owner hat on. I don't want to see Ryan Garcia. We just had, think about this, if you're DAZN, you've built Devin Haney. You've built Devin Haney all the way up. Devin Haney's had, I don't know how many fights on DAZN, 5 or 6 fights, I don't know, could be wrong. You built him up, and then all of a sudden, he's gone. He's gone, he's on top rank, he's undisputed. So that's one fight that you had, a young fighter, American, right? Could maybe move the needle for you eventually. You don't want to do it to another one. You don't want to see another one of your superstars or upcoming superstars go on to another broadcaster and fight what could be one of the biggest fights of the year and have no say in it. You don't want that. So it's going to be a very, very difficult one to iron out, I think. I'm not quite sure how they do iron it out, but look, we'll see. I leave for Abu Dhabi on Wednesday morning. Obviously, I'm there for the Bivol Ramirez fight, which I think is going to be a really, really good fight, as will be McCaskill Cameron, as will be Rakhimov Zelfa Barrett. So I feel like I'm very, very lucky. I'm presenting the show as well, which is good. It has also been confirmed. I think I told you guys that I will be doing the Floyd Mayweather card as well. I'm not quite sure what to expect, but that should be fun, and hopefully I'll get the chance to sit down with Floyd Mayweather, which would be one of those sort of those boxes ticked, yeah, one of those pinch me moments, 100% pinch me moment. All right, anything else, guys, before we go? I know that is it. We are done. Very, very quick video. Thank you so much as always. Thanks for understanding as well, people. Peace and love.